Hi, this is Dominic Keating. I played Lieutenant Malcolm Reed on Enterprise, as you probably know, and you are listening to the NX 7062 podcast. Enjoy.
Why, yes, you are listening to the NX 7062 podcast. Hello. I should have put this up last week, just so everybody knows, because I did say that the 13th was my last recorded show, or I'm sorry, my last live show, and the rest of this was going to be pre-recorded. So here we are doing the pre-recorded thing. I was able to sneak in last week and kind of chat with you guys. It was so great that some of you showed up to watch it live, even though it was just a recording. Thank you so much. That meant a lot to me, and I hung around and chatted a little bit. But for those of you that have watched the show and know, I finally was able to get my knee surgery sorted, and I'm doing it on very early on Tuesday morning. So I won't be hanging out tomorrow night. Probably, I've got a lot of stuff to do, and I know that I'm gonna have all this last minute stuff that I'm gonna need to get done before I'm incapacitated. It's my right leg, so I'm not gonna even be able to drive anywhere. It's gonna suck, but it needs to get done, and I'll be happy when it's all over. Invisible Cat, here he is. There he is. Say hi, Kal-El. Podcat is here to do the same thing that I was going to do. I hope that you all had an amazing weekend. For those of you that were celebrating Christmas, I hope you had an amazing time, got a chance to spend some time with your family, got all the gifts that you wanted, hopefully at least 1 or 2 Star Trek themed, if that's what you're looking for. I hope last week's show with Magic Lasso kind of gave you some ideas if you're going to take some of your Christmas money. Maybe somebody gave you a lovely little Visa gift card, which I believe you can use on eBay and such. So hopefully somebody gave you, if you have some cash and you want to go and take our tips and go shopping and get yourself that much sought after Star Trek something collectible, couldn't blame you for that. This is actually, it's funny. I was going to do, I had a theme all picked out, and I'm not going to tell you what it is because I might do it later. And then I saw on Facebook another podcast is doing that theme, and I'm like, damn it. Mind readers, this has never happened to me before, so I didn't want to do the same thing that somebody else is doing this week, only because I just don't want to clash topics. I'll save it. I have a feeling there will be even better times to talk about what I was going to talk about, so this is just going to be really quickie kind of end of year thing that we're going to do. First off, we're going to do Discovery, because I've been doing my Discoveries. So what happened this week in Discovery? The one thing I am noticing about Discovery, I think they're taking a page out of Lower Decks, and they're making their Star Trek references. What's the word I'm looking for? First of all, they're going across the board. Now that they can, they're really leaning into the fact that they don't just have Enterprise to fall back on, as far as show references, that they now. The floodgates are open. They can reference any other Star Trek that they want, and they do it so well. They mentioned this week, the galactic barrier, which, if you don't know, and I didn't know this because I double-checked, I wanted to double-check my information. I didn't know that it's come up in more than once. When I think of the galactic barrier, I always think of Where No Man Has Gone Before, where Gary Mitchell tried to kill Kirk, and he had the tombstone with the wrong middle initial, because he got these ESP. His ESP was high, and then they went through the Great Barrier, and it got even higher. And Sally Kellerman, and there was this big mental duel. Where No Man Has Gone Before was the second pilot. It's the one that got Star Trek on the air, and they mentioned the Great Barrier there, and then they mentioned it this week because they've decided that the DMA. Oh, spoiler alert. The DMA has actually been, not only was it created, it is not naturally occurring, it's created, but it was created by entities that are on the other side of the Great Barrier. So this is going to be really cool, finding out what's on the other side of the Great Barrier. And it was an amazing show. It had what's the word I'm looking for? The same, their ship is becoming sentient, is what I'm. The ship is becoming sentient, and we're running into they're going to run into the same issues that they did with Data on a much, much, much larger scale, because it's one thing to have a sentient android as an officer. It's another thing to literally be living inside and 100% dependent on the entity that is now Discovery. So that is going to be a very interesting, a really interesting progression. Gray finally getting some time interacting with the rest of the crew now that Gray has their new body, and that's pretty amazing. The interactions between Gray and the ship, it's all just really going really well. There were some episodes and some. All right, Khalil, you're gonna have to leave now. If you don't, that's the rule on my lap during the show. If you don't settle, then you gotta go. And he wasn't settling; he was knocking into things. Okay, so the Burnham stuff. Sometimes the over emotional stuff gets to me. As in, like, can we? I love that she's a female captain. I love that she's open with her emotions. I love all of that. But sometimes, I can kind of understand why people are, because you have to be careful. You have to be careful, because if that's all she is, I get, showing captains being human, having emotions. They're all traumatized. They are all dealing with their trauma in their own way. I respect that. I think that's a great story. It shows the humanity behind the officers, and I think that's amazing. But it's a very fine line, because if you cross it and that's all you end up showing is the emotional captain, you're doing a disservice to the character as well as the actor. So I love Book. Grudge got some decent screen time. We got to see the Archer space dock. I'm assuming that's the space dock where they were repairing Discovery. What else? Oh, yeah. And one more thing before I forget, because I thought this was really cool, and it goes back to Star Trek references. They were talking about hiding in the pattern buffer, that the only way to survive getting out of this void was to hide in the pattern buffer. And immediately, everybody has to know that was the Scotty episode of TNG, because that is where Scotty was hiding for those 70 odd years before Geordi pulled him out. So right there, direct TNG episode reference. In fact, Star Trek tweeted about that. Go watch the original episode, because this is where they pulled it from. So that's it for the Discovery recap. We are just about 8 minutes in, and really, like I said, this is going to be quick. So you know what? All you guys that still haven't recovered from your holiday weekend and you're tuning in, you're not going to have to stick around for too much longer. I have got so much stuff to do, because for me, if I'm going to be laid up, the house has got to be cleaned up and straightened up. Mom's coming over on Tuesday, because once they put you under, if you go under full anesthesia, you can't be left alone for 24 hours. So there's just going to be a lot going on between when I get done recording this, all day tomorrow, and then Tuesday when I have the surgery. So, but like I said, I didn't want to not put something out there for you guys, because it's like Lasso always signs off about how much he loves on his channel, which you guys are all subscribing to, I hope, about how he loves doing it, doing his shows as well. And he loves his audience because he couldn't do it without them. And I 100% completely agree. Without you guys, why would I be here? Just kind of, right now I'm kind of lonely just talking to myself, kind of just shouting out into the void, as they say. But like I said, I wanted to get this message out to you guys to end the year with, because you guys are really important to me. My little chat pack 2.0, which I'm hoping one of my big goals for next year. I want to hopefully try and figure out how to make the chat pack grow. Please tell your friends. Can't guarantee, I want to get this out there before I forget, can't guarantee that I'm going to be live again on the 3rd, or that I'll have anything on the 3rd. You guys are going to have to stick around and follow me on social. Follow me all over the socials, because I'm so easy to find, because I'm at NX7062 freaking everywhere. It's so easy. Just follow me on NX7062 and find out, what's going to be happening in the coming year when we hit 2022. Can't believe it's all over. See this shirt? You know what? I should have worn my other one. I should have worn my Enterprise anniversary shirt, which I'm not going to stop and change. I could, but I'm not. I know. I've always liked to treat recordings just as if they were live, so I'm not going to stop and change my shirt. But as of January 1st, the 20th anniversary year of Enterprise is going to be over. And I feel like they got so shortchanged because Creation couldn't celebrate it because they don't have the licensing, I guess, to celebrate it. I guess that was part of losing the license from CBS, is they can't even use the show names to the point where it's like they can't even talk about anniversaries. So that sort of sucked, especially since Reed Pop couldn't take over until 2022. And who the frick knows if that's actually going to happen? I mean, I still really want to figure out if I can get out to Chicago, but I have no idea what's going to happen or if it's even going to be worth going at this point. They still, only have a handful of celebrities. Everything's really expensive. If you missed that show that I did where Lasso and I were talking about Chicago, kind of giving advice, because Lasso lives out by Chicago. He's gone to tons of events in Chicago. And there really is only the 3 hotels that are connected to McCormick Place, which is the convention center. They're expensive, but anywhere else that you're going to stay that's decent in Chicago, any type of money that you're going to save to stay someplace decent. Now, yeah, you could stay at a $20 a night room, but who's really going to want to do that kind of thing? But any place you're going to stay that's cheaper but decent, all of that savings is going to be eaten up in the Ubers that you're going to take to and from, or car rental, or whatever it is that you do, however it is that you decide to get from where you are to where you need to be at the convention center, because there is nothing in convenient walking distance. And April is such a iffy month. It could be amazing, especially with the way the weather's been the last couple of years. You could go thinking, well, April, that's light jacket weather, and I could probably walk, and maybe I walk 5 miles of it, or all of us that are veterans of walking those paths at the Rio, and I completely get that. But it's April, and April is iffy. It could be torrential rains. It could still be cold. It's the Midwest. It could snow. So so anywhere that you're going to stay, if not at the host hotel, any money that you're going to save is probably just going to get eaten up in transportation. Even if all you do is go to and from and nowhere else, even if all you do is, and you don't tour Chicago and you go nowhere else. So I'm just kind of reiterating that because, like I said, it's so cost prohibitive that I'm not even sure if I'm going to go as badly as I want to go. I don't know if it's going to happen. And it's soon. That's the other thing. It's April, feels like it's far away, but the days are also getting longer because we passed the winter solstice. So the days are getting longer, a minute a day. So let's see, what else did I want to talk about? Just stay tuned for next year. I'm so excited. I have a lot of guests that I'm rolling around in my head, people that I talked to in Vegas, people that I'm hoping to start reaching out to after the holidays are over. I know that I told Lasso that he can come back. Comic Fu can come back. Comic Fu and I are going to have to read the Mirror Universe TNG stuff before we come back. I found out it's on Kindle, so I don't even have to spend the money to buy it if I don't want to. There's definitely something, obviously, to owning the comic books and putting them in their bags and tucking them away and collecting them. But by the same token, I could also just turn around and Kindle them and read them on my Kindle, which could kind of be cool. Have to break in my new reading glasses. I got my prescription updated, so you need something to break in those new reading glasses. What else is going on? Don't forget, and if you want to support the show on a regular basis, you can visit me on Patreon, and the higher the tier, the cooler the thank you gift. I have thank you gifts lined up for all of the tiers. All you have to do is be a patron for 3 months, and you get cool little thank you gifts. The one of the thank you gifts is a gator. And I thought, at least a gator is also kind of more of a cold weather thing. It's a cold weather thing as well as just, a mask. And I was hoping I wasn't going to have to promote masking and whatever by this point. Maybe the gator would get swapped out for something else. But unfortunately, we're not quite there yet. So if you want to head over to Patreon, if you want to support the show just to support it, once, that's great. I would really appreciate that as well. And you can get yourself some cool merch over at my Teespring store, NX7062 the store. Just go to Teespring and you can look it up. And again, there's gators there too, but there's also sweatshirts, t-shirts, tank tops, sweatpants, coffee mugs, all the cool NX7062 merch that you could possibly want just to show that you support this little venture of mine. The other thing that you can do, and like I said before, Teespring just made it really a pain in the ass to do hats. So my good friend Raymond over at punkarmy.net is doing a hat for me, the official NX7062 ball cap. And you can just head over there. And while you are over at punkarmy.net, you should also be able to click over to Pop Culture Hero Coalition because they do the merch for Pop Hero Coalition too. So pop over there and support Chase and her fight against anti-bullying. And you know what? If I'm stumping for everybody else, I'm also going to stump for the amazing Melissa because she was just on the show. And that's another big thank you I want to send out. Thank you to everybody that did the show this past year. I appreciate it. Everybody that hung out with me took time out of their busy schedules and just, hung out for an hour or, in Wesley's case, a little more than an hour. Wesley York got me a sleeve stack. I mean, how cool is that? That was amazing. I had Sirach and Nikki did the show in Vegas for me. Nicole DeBoer did the show in Vegas for me. All amazing. If there's anybody that you want to see come back, absolutely let me know. You can drop me an email. You head over to my website. There we go. I'm just clicking. I've got all my banners. I might as well run them all through for the end of the year. You can head over to my website. That is probably the easiest way to hook up with me because there's links to all of the social medias if you're not following me on social media yet. And there's a way to email me from there too. If you want to, suggest a guest or whatever or whatnot. The best way, this is what I will tell you. Patrons on Patreon, besides being amazingly supportive of the show and just helping me out to keep the show rocking and rolling along, you also get membership to my private Facebook group called the NX7062 at Pajem. And you are guaranteed, you get to ask questions. You will always get first dibs at asking questions and making suggestions for show topics. So when it comes to guests, obviously that's not something I can unfortunately guarantee. I am always open to a guest suggestion, but I can never promise because obviously it depends on reaching out to them and trying to get them on the show. I'm running into brick walls with Jeffrey Combs. Haven't figured out how to get Jeff Combs to do one yet because, trying to directly ask him on Twitter didn't work. I figured, what the hell, it can't hurt. And I don't think I believe, for very, 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 very good reason, he's got his direct messages shut off on Twitter. So I don't know if there's any other way that I could get in touch with him, but things to think about. And like I said, I'm always open to suggestions. And if you know somebody that you'd like to see be a guest in the show, whether, Magic Lasso recommended Comic Fu. Again, I make no guarantees, but it never hurts to make a suggestion. I am always all ears. We are hitting the 19-minute mark. This is going to go down in history as the shortest. Oh, I disagreed there for a second. As the shortest NX7062 podcast in history, because I'm not even sure I've got 11 minutes worth of yapping to do. I am excited. 2022's got Strange New Worlds coming up. We've got the next Picard. Section 31 is still in the works. The second half of Prodigy's coming out. So there's just so much going on Trek Rise for the new year, which is why I will be back in the new year to talk about all the cool Trek stuff that is happening in the new year. Already working on my plans for Vegas 2022. Really looking forward to it. As always, hooking up with old friends, possibly making new ones. You never know. Also hoping still, again, another up in the air thing, but I am looking to head out to Gallifrey 1 in LA February 18th, 19th, and 20th. It is a Doctor Who convention. Hopefully going out there because I'll be working with Lambda Quadrant. So that is what 2022 has in store right now, is more Trek, more me, and a Doctor Who convention. And I think that pretty much sums it up. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to everybody that has been so supportive over the years. The new subscribers that I've gotten, the old ones that have been with me since before I even popped over to YouTube. Guys, thank you so much. I hope that we all have an absolutely incredible, amazing 2022. And I can't wait to be live with you all over again in 2022. Until I see you again, Happy New Year and live long and prosper.
Hey, this is Connor Turner. You've been listening to the NX7062 podcast with Stephanie. Enjoy your